it would affect the decision-making process a little bit.
Mhm.
But regardless, we are going to be continuing this series on 2000 Atmospheres LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Team GP. He is the Tuna Terran. America's here too. Gemini. He is Ryung.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Zest.
Going for a pseudo proxy.
Yeah,
Ryung
yeah.
is not this, to clarify.
To have a pseudo proxy coming out here from Ryung just to try and keep Zest on his toes and maybe force a reaction when a scout comes across the map. So yeah, Ryung being a little bit cheeky, but Zest, you know, only just now going, or not even, he doesn't even go for a probe scout, mate.
Wow. The balls of this man.
Doesn't even care.
Grabs the Nexus quick as can be.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps on going.
Yep, so he is in the dark, and that works in his favor because it does mean that Ryung, you know, he's like flipping around, he's doing all these tricks, and Zest isn't even paying attention. Doesn't even matter. Isn't even impressed.
You can't mind game a person who's not paying attention.
It's true.
It is true.
It's You're not wrong, mate. Not wrong. Oh god. So a decent start here from Zest. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch too much of game number 1. If you want to tune into the VOD of game 1, Gemini did cover that on his Twitch channel. He doesn't typically upload his VODs to YouTube, but they're going to be there on Twitch for at least as long as the highlight reel is up.
Should be a while.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time. So gonna be 2 weeks is basically a year.
It's
Or no, in 2 weeks we have a new year. No, look.
We get you.
Yeah, you get me.
Oh my god. And we'll see how this goes, because we did cast a TvP earlier this morning. If you remember, we casted Classic versus Fork. But that was a very different matchup, and Classic every single game opened up with a Stargate. Here we see Zest doing anything but that.
Twilight opening going to be coming out from our red Protoss player, and typically this is for Blink Stalkers. It's just a very safe opening you can go for that has the option to be aggressive as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of holding out hope for a Dark Shrine though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be a lot of fun, as we do have that Blinkstalker opening. Meanwhile, I was looking at Beyond and I was like, is this a 3-Rax opener? And it is. We are going to be seeing that 3rd Rax, but there is still, like, it was like a 1-1 into a 3rd Rax. So, yeah, he's still going to be making use of this factory.
It's interesting how he is prioritizing factory production, or at least initially at the start of the series. Moving out with his Cyclone, there's a little bit of a scout. You can get damage done, then it's just a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah, I love this because this is kind of just selling a story, Ryung is. Because Zest, he poked into the front of the wall and he saw a factory. So it's like, oh, okay, 1-1-1, right? Like, that just makes sense. Especially because the factory was producing, and Ryung even has a Cyclone that's active out of the map. So you don't really expect 3 Raxes behind that, right? It's not really something that you would typically see. So Zest, he's kind of being fed a little bit of misinformation.
I think it's going to be at the back of his mind, but yeah, you don't, especially if you see a Cyclone out this early on, then you have to wonder why the Terran player is willing to spend that much gas early on, right?
Yeah. Exactly, and I just love how this is playing out for Ryung. He's going to be working on a stim timing again. A lot of bio here. Starport is on the way, so it looks like he's going to be waiting to switch and go into 2 medevacs and go for a bit of a drop. So this isn't going to hit incredibly quickly. It's still going to take a little bit to get going, and oh, it's going to get scattered.
Zest started this game in the dark, but he wasn't dark for long as he asked for a quick pause.
Yeah. Hopefully everything...
Immediately after scouting.
Yeah. A little bit sus, but hopefully everything is okay. I'm sure Ryung is a little bit annoyed.
Processing.
Yeah. I'm sure Ryung is like, ugh, he just scattered me. God damn it. And I was about to assume... Oh.
What?
Why is Ryung counting down?
What? He's hoping to psych out Zest.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
And the count of 1, Zest is just gonna unpause and be like, "Oh no, wait, I wasn't ready."
Yeah, like
haha.
Part of me is like,
is
he checking ping? But you wouldn't count down if you're checking ping like that. Like it's
Hey, or just spam a single letter or number.
Yeah.
Times. Typically, what happens anyway.
Shaking my head, Ryung. But yeah, you know, maybe someone's at the door, like a little bit of an emergency. Again, hopefully everything's okay for Zest, as he's setting some things up. Meanwhile, behind this, we have Charge on the way. He's working on his own War Prison to be active. What's important, though, is that, like, after he scattered all of this, like, now he knows to be... Now he's on notice, right? I thought he was being a little bit greedy, taking this 3rd base, and then Ryung has a clear target. But because Zest knows about the mass bio, like, he can start to prepare for it, right?
Yeah, one good, well-timed overcharge will absolutely shut down a 3-Rex push like this.
Or DTs.
Only takes on... Or DTs? Yeah! I think it's a little too... That'll take a little too long, but... Again, holding out hope that we do see that this game.
Definitely. So I just switched some scenes over here. So we don't know how long this break is going to be. Longer than I would have thought, to be honest. So again, hopefully everything's okay. I don't know if like it's you know, the kitchen's on fire, you know. Maybe someone came over, but looks like everything's okay.
That it does.
Oh, we're back.
We can get a translation.
Yep, as we are now back here, and now we do see immediately shield batteries are being thrown down at the 3rd base location. Zest repositions his army as well to make sure he can meet whatever comes across. And at the same time, War Prism is now going out across the map. Charge is still on the way. We still don't have Charge, but we got Blink. That's pretty good.
Yeah, especially against low-range units like Marines and Marauders. No tanks out right now for Ryung. So I think really anchor his army too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned just because Zest just saw, hey, there's a bit of a drop. He intercepts! No!
Medevacs are very exposed, but they will not go down. Oh man, Ryung, you gotta be a little careful, man.
Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, at the same time, oh my god, I thought it was waiting out there. War Prism went down to a Widowmine shot and a Cyclone.
Bada boom, bada bing, and Ryung, we'll see if he continues or keeps up this momentum. He's just regrouping with a little bit more of his army. Restoring the health of one of his medevacs. I worry that this is going to take up a little too much time, but he can always hold a voice. He's not, but he could.
He is not. He's still got more upgrades on the way. 3rd CC is thrown down, and now Ryung has nothing to worry about. There's a reason why he's salvaged. There's a reason why he's not leaving a lot at home, because the War Prism just died. He doesn't have to stay at home, and now this 3rd base is looking juicy, mate. He wants it. Has to be careful not to push up this ramp. Sentries are here, ready and waiting to force field.
Cutting off the army is exactly what... It's basically what you're asking for if you sim up the ramp like that.
Yeah.
But simming up this ramp is a little bit more forgiving.
I mean, Zest sees anyway. He's got an observer here, just spotting everything. One scan does take out one of the observers, but, I mean, there's another that, again, just sees everything.
Yeah, but it also draws the army of Zest a little bit out of position. I'm looking at the army supply difference, and Ryung has a massive advantage. It's just not here.
Exactly, and a lot of the supplies and the medevacs as well. It looks like the Cyclone is going to get picked off, chased down by a single Stalker. And Ryung, I'm sure he wanted to hit a certain timing here with Stim and with +1, but it looks like he will not be able to hit that timing. Backs off and just focuses on taking up and goes straight into a Ghost Academy.
I do think he could have taken out that third base.
Yes. With no splash damage and very little amounts of zealots, I do think that if he had gone in from the right-hand side, he could have taken out a pylon and maybe the Nexus, honestly. Maybe. He's going for it.
But for now, he's just going to be playing safe and repositioning his army as best he can. He's actually trying to go for some multi-prong, which is what you want to do typically, but again, I feel like one straight-up push could win him the game right now.
Yeah, the longer this goes on, the likelihood of a head-on engagement working in Ryung's favor is lower, because Colossus just now pops out. Like, there was such a big window without any Colossus at all, and Ryung could have stimmed in and done something. But now, with a Colossus and with extended thermal lance, like, it's gonna be that much harder to really make anything happen.
I guess Ryung just hasn't scouted tech yet. Hasn't quite realized what's coming his way. Yes, he's trying to cover as many bases as possible, getting Ghosts and Vikings at the same time, which eventually will help him out, but for now, it does mean he has a bit of a less effective army composition.
Exactly, Ryung, he's just unfortunately, despite wanting to be aggressive, like, he's just being forced to be a little bit more passive back at home, a little bit more defensive. It's letting Zest get his ideal army. He's got double Robo production, he's got Colossus, he's got Disruptors. He's working on goddamn Skytoss right now. Jesus Christ.
May as well. Nothing really, because throughout this entire game, there's nothing that's really pressured Zest.
Yeah.
Ryung is posturing. He's posturing around, he's dipping back and forth, but he's never really dived in.
Yeah, because of that, Zest has he's never had to warp in defensively at home. He never had to warp in any Zealots or anything. He's been working with very minimal gateway units and being as greedy as possible, taking up and transitioning. And he's getting away with it. Ryung back at home, he's expanding, he's taking up himself, which is great and all. He's actually maxed out, which is insane. But he's got to do something with this army. He cannot let Zest get into these carriers.
Well, once again, max out push I think will do wonders for Ryung right now.
Just gotta go for it.
Just focusing on maxing out as quickly as he possibly could.
Yeah.
He does need to go for it very soon though.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about, right? Like, it's like, hey, he's got 200 supply. That's great. He's got to do something with it, though. Zest, he's trying to expand. Taking out this fourth base is a nice start, but I feel like Ryung has to start trading. Otherwise, he's just going to start working on a bank, and banks aren't really what you want here, because, like, Protoss, a Death Ball, can just, like, have a really explosive fight and just snowball, you know?
Yeah, you really want to come in from more of an angle. It's getting ready to do, but hasn't yet.
Yeah, he does scan, confirms not just the tech, he confirms the carriers as well. He's going for it though.
Collapsing on top of his Stalker force. How are we on sentries? I think they were EMP'd earlier on. No, they still have quite a bit of energy on them. Most of the wind mines get taken out by disruptors, and I mean, Ryung does cancel the base.
Zest almost killed his own Nexus there, by the way. Maybe.
He did, but he didn't.
That was a little bit Mark S. But honestly, Ryung had a decent fight. He canceled the base, but he didn't kill any high-tech units, and that's what's a little bit scary. Like, again, he's trying to force an engagement, trying to pull the army out of position, but like pushing into disruptors is always so difficult.
That's one of those things where he's trying to force an engagement, but he could just straight up force it if he wanted to.
Yeah, like just because of how many disruptors there are, like Ryung can't push in. There's no way. Like whenever he tries to push in, there's gonna be a Nova coming at his face, and he has to respect that. And now Zest is the one who's maxed out, and that is terrifying.
Especially since he's maxed out with a much better army. He's maxed out with carriers.
Yeah. like, looking at the units tab, there's 4 carriers, 3 Colossus, 7 disruptors. That's a lot of disruptors. I don't know what Ryung can do right now. He's going to Liberators, which is great against disruptors, but like maybe you need more Vikings instead, just because of everything in the air. It's like a hard thing to balance, right?
It definitely is, but I don't know. I feel like Liberators could do decently well against interceptors in particular.
True.
Ryung is nailing these EMPs. But he's not really following them up with much.
Yeah, and he just lost a CC as well, denied or delaying the second CC that was being built here at the 4th base. Liberators are forcing this back. Even though Widowmine dealing some damage. What I will say is that because there are so many disruptors, I do agree that Liberators are probably the correct answer right now. If the army does become more air focused, then we of course need to see that responded to by Ryung. But at the moment, I think that his army is okay as long as it's, you know, in position.
That's a big if. But this is a bigger position.
Oh god, the
Novas.
Yeah, the Novas are going off. We even have a little bit of micro there with the Colossus, but there's nothing left on the ground, and the disruptors have been taken care of.
Wow, that Warp Prism gets taken out just before it can get a warp in. I was really down to power these Liberators, but they do manage to snipe a lot of units in the skies. The Vikings coming in just at the last second, and that was an extremely expensive loss from Zest. He loses 5 carriers, another Warp Prism, and 3 Colossus. Ryung has so much momentum. All he needs to do is keep pushing.
Exactly. It takes so long for a Protoss player to rebuild their army, and that was a disastrous fight for Zest. He lost every single one, all 7 of his disruptors. GG gets called, and Ryung takes game 2.
Ties up the series sideways 1-1. I do still think that Ryung could have won earlier if he went straight for it, but you do have to admire his patience there.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Ryung really handled that fight well. What I will say is that Zest really did kind of blunder that engagement. If you noticed, he shot out every single one of his Purification Novas at once. He's like, dude, he just rapid fired his Novas out. Yeah. And we all know that typically you want to stagger them, right? Otherwise there's overkill and there's nothing to stop the army from just stimming forward. You want to keep the Terran players scared of your disruptors, but he just rapid fired them away. Got some good shots off, but only like 1 wave of shots, and that's it.
1 wave of shots, which basically devolved into 1 shot.
Pretty much. Also, that was a clutch kill in the War Prism. That was clutch, man.
It really was. So close. The Vikings weren't even out yet. Or
yeah?
The Vikings were out, but they weren't in position yet.
That was a great engagement there by Ryung, waiting for the Protoss to push into him when he's got the high ground, where he's got the arc, he's got the defender's advantage. And we have a series on our hands. You know, I was after game 1, I was worried, is this going to be one-sided? Nah, man.
Apparently not. So we continue our series now on Glittering Ashes LE here in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way to the top right-hand corner. We of course have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea, but also under the sea. He is a Tuna Terran. He is going to be representing Team GP. We have Ryung.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have South Korean Protoss representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG, one of the best Protoss players in the world. It is Zest. Mate, they're doing it to each other. Are they? Okay, the probe was headed towards the third, so I was like, is he going to throw down a pylon? Apparently not! And Ryung is going for the proxy.
He realized in the last game that Ryung went for a pseudo proxy. Wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he can still throw down batteries? No, he's going for the scout.
Yeah, he's going for the scout instead. So Zest playing the safe. And because this game he went for a probe scout, remember, he didn't go for a probe scout in game 1. In game 2. He will confirm that there is a proxy.
How does... Yeah, no. Well, I guess worse luck, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also a thing where this is one of the larger maps, and not a whole lot of Terran players out there do like playing a long TvP on Glittering Ashes, so yeah, it pays to be safe. Better to be safe than dead.
Oh yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, bunker is being thrown down here. This is scouted from Zest. He did see said bunker, so he's aware of what the build is. Okay, Reapers are going to be coming out. They're going to be a little bit annoying, denying a bunch of mining. And thankfully, Zest actually keeps his probe alive in the main base of Ryung. So he confirms, okay, you're transitioning, right? You're not proxying your factory or anything crazy like that.
Yeah, you're not 3-raxing me across the map or anything.
Yeah.
It's still planning to get an expansion eventually, just not quite yet.
Exactly. We'll see how good the micro is. So far, pretty good. The Reaper doesn't have a single kill, and the Stalker comes out. Oh my god, can he get into the bunker? Oh no! What?
Wow.
Oh.
Just a pixel away. Away from the Ranger's Stalker, not away from the bunker. There was still quite a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, that's devastating, because what just happened is the Reaper got 0 damage, got 0 kills, and now this bunker isn't going to be able to deny any mining time. Like, this proxy from Ryung is not paying off at all.
He really wants it to, though. Because of Shell, Marauders are on the way. I don't think he's going to be able to save that bunker. He salvages it instead, and he's just gathering his forces.
Yeah, this is a really cute way to use a proxy, by the way. Like, Concussive Shell Marauders can really snowball. Concussive Shell is done, and there's no shield battery. He's going to be able to slow down all of these Stalkers.
Takes him out in a couple of hits, and he kites.
Oh!
No!
Oh, the misclick!
He almost got away with it.
He should have gotten away with it. There should be 2 Marauders here, but there is only 1. So best case scenario here for Zest. Meanwhile, there's only probes here, but there's soon to be a Void Ray.
Soon, but not yet. But it's not here yet, and there's still a lot of damage these Hellions can get done. Even with the Void Ray out, so many probes are going down, 8 of them already.
Yeah, well, not other players for not having WCS game hearts, but as you were saying, a lot of probes are dying. Finally, the Hellions are being dealt with, and finally Zest will be able to reclaim control of his main base. But that was a lot of damage dealt. Is there a world? Can Ryung get a kill in it? Nah, there's no way. I was like, can he go for it? No.
Loses Marauders if he's not careful, unfortunately. He's gonna lose them, yeah.
Void Ray is going to be able to chase all of this down. The Hellions will survive, and there's a world where maybe the Hellions can go into the main base. It looks like he's going to try and go for a bit of a little cheeky drop here with 3 of said Hellions.
That's enough to one-shot the probes, yeah.
Ooh, let's go. Both Void Rays are moving out. Is there going to be enough NG for... There's no NG for recall.
What's the entire situation looking like for Ryung, though? Oh, he's getting Cyclones and Vikings. Yeah, no.
He is getting Cyclones and Vikings. We'll see if they come out in time. The Hellions show up. Does Zest turn around? He does not. He commits with his Void Rays.
Honestly, pretty insane how committed Ryung has been to the harass so far this game. There are 2 Vikings out now, and I actually really worry for Ryung in this scenario. Vikings can kite Void Rays, but he's running out of room to kite.
He wants to camp the Cyclone, but the Void Rays do get distracted. The Cyclone comes out just in time, and now with 2 Vikings and a Cyclone, I think Ryung can deal with this. If he gets, oh god, he's gonna be careful though.
He needs to be very, very careful. He does get a decent lock on, but these Void Rays haven't sustained any hull damage yet. The SCVs are not in position to repair any of these units. 1 Void Ray will fall, but Ryung has lost quite a bit more units in the sky. Throughout this entire game, though, Zest has lost 21 SCVs, so...
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of dead. Oh, no, the medevac! Almost gets picked off. We do have a Cyclone come out just in time. So Ryung will defend at home, and now we're in a really wonky game. Oh my god, that's why Zest is going for a Dark Shrine. Like, because the economic situation is so sparse here, like, Ryung can't afford not to mule. Oh god.
No eBay either. Raven will probably take way too long, especially since he just doesn't have the gas for it. He doesn't have the gas for it, and Zest is going for a forward gateway.
Yeah, he's gonna be warping in DTs across the map. Like, this game is popping up incredibly hyper aggressive, and the Dark Shrine is about to finish up. Zest recognizes that he sustained a lot of losses early on, and he smells weakness right now. Again, it's all gonna come down to whether or not there is enough energy for a scan.
Well, he should have enough for at least one scan pretty soon, but he does need to save that scan, and the way he's sinking right now, I'm not sure if he's gonna.
Yeah, we shall see. Right now, there are a couple of... I love that the Viking and the Cyclone is in the main base, so getting ready for the Void Rays. The Void Rays are about to dive in. In comes the DT. There is enough energy for a scan. He sees!
Wow.
Wow.
And he finishes up the eBay just in time as well. He has enough for another scan if need be, too.
Oh my god, the Micro! He keeps the Cyclone alive! Oh!
Wow. Wow.
Ryung
has
the missile turret!
sustained some losses this game, but he's played incredibly well.
Yeah.
Missile turret finishes up just in time.
That was clutch. That was a clutch missile turret there by Ryung. He gets it up, as you were saying. He defends beautifully against all the aggression of Zest. And now Zest, he's given up on the aggression. He's going for a third.
May as well at this point.
Oh my god.
Despite all the losses Zest has taken, he's actually ahead in the worker count, so yeah, he doesn't need to be overly aggressive.
What I will say, and what I'm really concerned about here, is that Ryung is going to hit a very strong timing.
Oh,
Stim,
definitely.
combat shields +1, and the tanks. He has to be careful not to go too soon. Yeah, he's got the Medivacs. And again, if he pushes out, there's no way that Zest holds onto this third.
There isn't, but he could try to go for a base raise. These Stalkers will get scouted by the Viking, as well as that gateway.
They do, but the Stalkers do not see the drop. The drop barely sneaks around the edge of the map. Stalkers are getting ready to dive in. Do we have a tank at home? Oh, the tank is actually a part of the drop.
Yeah, both tanks. Oh no, one tank, sorry.
Yeah. And that means that right now, honestly, the Stalkers, if they had high ground vision, they could go into the main base and wreak havoc. But Zest doesn't know. He doesn't know how vulnerable Ryung is, and there's a drop coming across the map.
Plus, the Oracles were taken out earlier. Oh, this is great. But both players, honestly. Zest could also push in right now with what he has, but I don't know, man. He also has to deal with everything going on back at home. Charge will not finish.
It will not finish. Everything here is going to get depowered. That's a lot of the production just gone now. The Stalkers were recalled all the way back home. Is this going to be enough? Oh, the Widowmine shots are baited.
Yeah, real good warp in here from Zest, just baiting out those Widowmine shots, but the Pyro is too strong. GG is called, and Ryung finds himself a match point against Zest?
Oh my god.
Against Zest?
Again, like, this was a wild game. This was not standard by any means. There was so much going on, and I feel like maybe the overconfidence from Zest really hurt him there, because he like, going for those DTs was a wild move, and it didn't work at all.
I just want to take a step back and appreciate how committed Ryung was to his harass.
Yeah.
He went for the proxy scout, he went for the bunker, it gets denied, and we thought, okay, he's just going to lift up and go back home, right? No. Throws down a tech lab, gets concussive shells, and then takes out a couple of stalkers and a couple of probes as well. And then we thought, okay, well, now there's the Void Ray out, so this should be the end of Ryung's harass after getting, what, 10 probes at the start or something. Not bad for the Terran player, but he should cut his losses. No. Loads up 3 Hellions into a medevac and gets 11 more probes, which ended up having a domino effect. Later down the line.
It was wild, mate. It was wild. Obviously, after all that aggression, like, Ryung was a little bit vulnerable to a counterattack, and that's where suddenly things were in Zest's favor, and now he was in his face with his Void Rays and DTs. But we saw they did nothing. Ryung, his defenses were just too good. It was insane. And then he just had to go across the map with his timing. And there's a world where maybe Zest catches that drop in the middle of the map. He almost did, but he caught the Viking instead. And that let Ryung know, oh, I gotta be careful. I gotta make sure I avoid these Stalkers.
feel like Ryung was really just thinking, all right, what are the few ways that Zest could come back in this game?
Yeah.
And he covered for them. One was with DTs, and if he didn't have a scan. Second was getting all those medevacs caught.
Mhm.
Anyway, we are still continuing our semifinals here on Berlingrad LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We, of course, have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Team GP. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the furthest he's ever gone in in an ESL Open Cup. Can he go even further to the finals? It's looking pretty likely. We have the Tuna Terran. He is Ryung. Kim Dong-won.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player currently down in this series. The favorite, not just in this series, but maybe even in this entire tournament. He's won so many of these ESL Open Cup Asias. But now he's up against the wall, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Zest. Wow.
I almost don't believe the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, it's good that you pointed it out. Ryung has never been in the finals. He has never won one of these tournaments. But mate, hashtag Year of Ryung. Like he's looking better than he.
Yeah, the tuna.
Yeah, he's looking better than he has in years, mate. Years.
Honestly speaking, I would agree with that. Even way back in Wings of Liberty, when he was occasionally the ace in GSTL.
He was, yeah. He was the ace. He won MVP of
MMA.
his. Yeah, he was the MVP of the. He was the MVP of the season, the entire season. He was given the award out of all teams. Like Ryung, it was a monster back in Heart of the Swarm. But yeah, is he going to come back into form? Is that happening?
It's pretty likely. Especially because, you know, Team GP, they do seem to support their players really, really well. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, that was what gave Ryung a little bit more motivation. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but, you know, a little bit of a push to just get better.
I like to think it was Crank.
Just yelled at him.
Yeah. I mean, they're good old friends, and Crank is always there. He's always been analyzing and casting the game. Like, I'm sure he's a great asset to have for any player.
That's the reason why he was the coach of Axiom.
Definitely. So it's great to see they're still out there. They're still helping each other out. And we'll see how this goes. Again, like Ryung, he's so close. Can he do it? Can he make it to the grand finals? To go up against Solar. Again, that's still a scary opponent.
Terrifying opponent.
Yeah.
Solar, who seems to be in his element these past 2 weeks. But still, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have a game on Berlingrad and potentially another game on a map that I'm unsure what it's going to be after this, potentially. And yeah, Ryung taking advantage of the short rush distance, going for a 3 racks. Zest playing it safe, going for Twilight Council.
Yeah, I appreciate this. I've seen Protoss players like Classic, and I want to say, who's the other one? Where they just go Stargate regardless of map, and they just die horribly because, mate, you don't want to go Stargate on Berlingrad. Yeah. So even though Ryung is going for a very aggressive opener, you know, Zest, he is going to have tools to help with that.
Yeah. You get an Oracle with that? Yep. Single Oracle. That's the only unit he's built from Stargate, and that's purely for... Well, I was going to say harass, but yeah, once again, it looks like he just wants to use it more defensively through Stasis Ward.
He didn't even scout. Like, the Oracle did not go across the map at all. So he's just been chilling here at home, playing it very safe. Again, not going into Phoenixes, not going into more Oracles, just using it very defensively at home. And it makes sense, not just because of the map, but also because Ryung's on match point, right? Like, Zest, if he messes up one more time, like, he is out of the tournament.
He just read Ryung like a book. He knows.
Exactly. Meanwhile, this is still going to be a very scary push. Like Ryung, he's going to be working on a stim and combat shield timing. He's also going to be working on +1. There we go. +1 finally does start on that engineering base. So, again, this is kind of the aggressive Ryung we know and love in this matchup. Can he break the defensive Zest? We'll see, because, again, we're going to have a couple of stasis wards thrown around here and there.
Every now and then. Meanwhile, Zest decides that the best defense is a good offense. He will have high ground vision with this.
Yeah.
Just as Blink finishes up.
And there's no tank either because of the opener. There are only Cyclones and a handful of Marines. Stim is not done yet. Oh!
Those Cyclones can do a lot if they are microed, but man. Caught a little off guard there. That one Adept doing such a good job of distracting the army too. No concussive shells.
Oh my god, that was such a key snipe on the tech lab. I'm sure Zest wanted to deny Stim, but Stim is done, and because it is done, then the army of Ryung will be able to force all of this back.
But not without sustaining quite a number of losses. Losing 2 Cyclones right off the bat just puts Ryung behind.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a feels bad man scan. Ryung scans to see if there's a third, and he scans the wrong location, so he doesn't know about the third base. And I feel like any kind of push that Ryung wanted to go for, the momentum has just been taken out of his sails. It's the power of these Blink Stalkers. The power of Zest being as aggressive as he was. There were no tanks to defend and keep all of this alive, and Zest took full advantage of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe Ryung could pull the boys if he really wanted to push, but I don't know if he does. I don't know if that's a great idea at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we have a Dark Shrine behind this as well, so we're going to have some DTs coming up for Zest again. And this time, there is no tech lab on the factory. There aren't going to be any defensive tanks at all. So I am a little bit concerned here for Ryung, but he's going to be pushing out.
Yeah, going for a little bit of multi-prong. He does have a pretty beefy army right now. Concussive Shells just finished up, and again, Symbio 9 out of 10 times, unless the Protoss player has room to maneuver, will beat Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But charge is done. We have sentries for force fields. We have overcharge. It's Ryung did scan, and he's not going to push in there. He's not crazy. He's not insane. But because he's not pushing out, like again, like this 3 racks isn't really paying for itself. And Zest, he's getting ready to warp in some DTs.
What happened to the drop that was set up earlier on? Did Ryung just not?
He did not.
I think he just brought, I think he may have just brought it home and then loaded it.
Yeah. Oh my god, we have proxy gateways all over the place. My god.
Yeah, just in case one gets scouted.
Yeah.
Just in case one gets denied. Ryung loads up everything, and he's trying to go around, but there are so many spotter pylons.
Yeah, maybe the Doom Drop can avoid all this. What I'm really afraid of is that there is nothing at home to defend. There's a handful of units. If Zest wanted to, he could commit with his Stalkers, but no, he comes back, he recognizes, yo, the army's missing. Where is it? It's across the map.
And here comes a mass defensive warp in. Should just about be enough to chase Ryung back. But the recall is here for good measure.
Yeah, oh my god, the Widowmines didn't even get their shots off. Zest defends beautifully, and he is set up as well. There's just so much red just sprinkled across the map to just be aggressive, and he's even working on Blink DTs. It's insane. Like, he's just running away with this, to be honest.
He's warping in 8 DTs at a time. Oh lordy.
Oh god.
Oh lordy.
They're ready. They're ready to go in with the Blink.
I am terrified right now for Ryung.
Yeah.
So detection either. I mean, the Ghost could potentially land their EMPs on them, but I doubt that's what he's gonna utilize them for.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna see the EMPs ideally on all these Zealots. Meanwhile, DT still haven't pulled the trigger. They're just chilling here on the top right. And just
even more of them?
Oh, Zest wants to come out in style, mate. He wants to.
He does.
He doesn't just want to win.
Exactly. If we're going to the ace match, we're going to the ace match in style.
Yeah. He wants to dominate, mate. That's what he wants as the DTs are getting ready to engage with the army. Zest, he's just pulling Ryung apart at this point. I mean, we do have a couple of ghosts coming out. We do have some solid EMPs. Oh, God.
fight. What about the DTs? There are so many of them that even with the scan, there's just not enough damage for Ryung to really deal with them. GG is called, and we are getting our ace match. Series is going to distance, mate.
GG.
Like it should.
Ryung punished for his builds, and as you said during the game itself, Zest kind of just read Ryung like a book. Like, just kind of assuming how he would play, and he just was able to counter that incredibly well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think right now, because obviously the turning point was when Zest blinked in with all his stalkers, but you know, after that, I feel like there were a couple of points where Ryung could have recovered, maybe. If he did commit to that single medevac drop, perhaps. While he was also pushing out with, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It was a rough start to the game, and Zest just had a lot of momentum going his way. It looked like towards the end he was just having fun. he was enjoying himself.
Oh yeah, he knew it was his game at that point.
Yeah. And now we are going to that ace match. And I wonder what map we're gonna end up on.
We are gonna another really good 3rex map, at least according to Cure.
Yeah, we'll see where we and how we go here, as it looks like we're gonna be on Pride of Altaris, and are we gonna see some goal bases in this matchup?
I would prefer to see gold bases than a 3rex, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I would as well. 3rex with a goal base.
No. that would be the last thing I want to see, I think.
That'd be a lot of Marines.
It would be a lot of Marines. This would be a lot of Zealots.
Yeah, it would, yeah. I doubt we're going to see that, but here we go. We're diving in to game number 5.
The final one, or our best of 5 semifinals. Once again, as a reminder, the winner of this will go up against Solar in the grand finals, which will be another best of 5. And we will have predictions. Anyway, we are going to be concluding this best of 5 semifinals now on Pride of Altaris LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We, of course, have a blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Team GP. He is the Tuna Terran. He is the heir to Dongwon. He is the MS Paint Artist. He is... I'm trying to think of other things I can throw in there. The brother of Crank? Question mark? He is Ryung.
You need to get in touch with
player.
You need to get in touch with Steelmod for some intro advice, okay? And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have one of the best Protosses in the entire world, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, tying up the series 2-2. Can he bring it all the way back, mate? It is Zest.
Am I misremembering this, or did Crank host a 2v2 tournament once?
Host a 2v2 tournament?
Host or cast or something, a 2v2 tournament, because I have a very strong memory now of Ryung and Zest being 2v2 partners in something that Crank streamed.
Maybe.
I think it might have just been team games.
Possible, mate. It's possible. He has streamed team games before.
Yeah, I have that very strong memory now.
I think I remember
yelling at Zest. Just being like, I'm trying, man.
Oh god.
Like, calm down.
What you're saying, was that relatively like this year?
No, that was like, I think that was when Ryung first got on military. So I want to say like towards the end of last year.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that as well. Vaguely. Oh boy. But we'll see how this goes, because Zest is now just doing whatever the hell he wants. He throws out his second pylon. It is a proxy Stargate, but also a pseudo proxy.
Pseudo-proxy.
Yeah. What is going on? But Ryung with his SCV scout, he didn't go into the main, so he doesn't know that there's a pylon missing.
Huh. But because he doesn't know there's a pylon missing, he's just checking the perimeter of his bases and is feeling pretty safe, which honestly he should be. It's just a Stargate opening.
Yeah, it's very standard. It's like a reverse from game 2.
But at the same time, Ryung skipped out on his Reaper, so he's not playing the scout anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Oh god. Meanwhile, the Adept does not commit to the Shade. I'm really curious to see what the Widowmine positioning is going to be. Yeah, he should be setting himself up in the mineral lines just in case an Oracle shows up. So, because Ryung isn't scouting, he's playing it safe. Regardless, you know, to make up for the fact that he's in the dark.
As he just sets up for what looks to be a Widowmine drop. It could be a Widowmine drop, could be a Marine Widowmine drop. Either way.
I mean, there's a lot of Marines.
To get some probe damage. There are a lot of Marines.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the first Widowmine is here, snuggled in the main base. Oracle's about to show up. Will he go into the mineral line?
Oh, doesn't. Now he does. Doesn't.
Ooh. Yeah. Respects the mineral line, is well aware of the Widowmine opening, and Zest will not lose his Oracle.
Airborne as the game goes on. Zest will not lose his Oracle, but Ryung starting to lose a handful of SCVs and a couple of Marines as well. A second Oracle joins the fray. The Widowmines, they were picked up. They were sent for a drop. Ryung gonna rely on a Viking and look to be a Cyclone, but cancels that in favor of a tank instead. So yeah, gonna be relying on a single Viking for anti-air.
Yeah, I'm really concerned here. The Oracles are gonna dip on in. The Viking comes out just in time, but damage is being done anyway. 3 more SCVs go down. Ryung has to deal some equalizing damage.
He's already behind, but the Phoenixes are here! Boost puppy!
Oh god, he
needs... drop a couple of mines. He drops all of his mines. 2 of them get picked up. 1 of them... Died. Okay, well.
All 3 Widowmines do get cleaned up, and the medevac as well. The opening not working at all here for Ryung, and the Oracles are still alive from earlier. Still more potential for them to deal more damage.
Quite possibly the worst start Ryung could have asked for.
God. And now he's stuck at home. He doesn't have map control. His upgrades are delayed as well because of his opener, so there's no stim on the horizon or anything like that.
Cases are going to be as aggressive as possible with dealing with this Viking. I do like this from Ryung. It's utilizing some of that landing control.
Yeah, like he knows that he does not have control of the skies. Like he cannot keep his Vikings in the air against all these Phoenixes. And he has to be careful. God, a couple more SCVs get taken out. Stim finally on the way. But Ryung, it's going to be a while before he's able to stabilize and really have the ability to move out.
But once he does, oh lord, that is going to be a pretty powerful push, especially if he decides to pull the boys, which... at this point, I feel he may as well.
I agree. I think at this position, after all these losses, after losing even more SCVs, third CC is not the wisest choice. You know, he's going for it anyway. Oh god.
Well, just trying to give himself a little bit of an out in case he isn't able to end the game. Speaking of which, a Templar Archives is about to finish up right now for Zest.
Yeah, he's getting ready to go in.
Storms. Like the best things you can get.
Like, this is the problem. He's getting ready to go into Chargel Archon. We have +1, we have the Zealots. We already have 3-way saturation. Like, look at the worker disparity right now. Like, Zest is miles ahead. And the longer this goes on, the better it is going to be for him. That's why I was like, yo, Ryung going for a 2-base all-in could work. But because we have a third, like, it looks like Ryung intends to make SCVs.
Well, I want to give him a chance here, because on that game on 2000 Atmospheres, we were also thinking, you know, Ryung could totally push out, you know, maybe pull the boys if he needs to, so and so, but he instead was acting very, very patient, and because of that, was able to force Zest to a very awkward engagement that he took advantage of. We'll see if that's a similar if that's going to be a similar case in this game, because for now, Ryung is still very much behind.
Yeah, he really is, and he's working on his orbital now, still working on nothing but army, and it's getting quite large. But Zest is larger. Oh god.
Oh. Okay, doesn't get the war prism.
Doesn't get the war prism, but Zest sees everything. The army was tagged, tries to dive on top of those medevacs. The pieces are coming in. Oh god.
And the medevac will survive. That was a medevac full of units too. Very, very important to keep alive. And with that, Ryung is able to repel the first assault of Zest.
Oh yeah. Zest overextending, trying to push up a ramp into 3 tanks was not going to work. So Zest takes a lot of shells to the face. But taking this third base is going to be difficult. It's going to be a tough ask, and Ryung recognizes that. He picks up. It looks like he wants to try and take the third on the left-hand side instead, which is a little bit more defensible. But again, this is just delaying the third even longer.
Yeah, meanwhile, this is just getting ready to completely mess up the main. No anti-air, no anti-air. The Vikings are not in position.
We have a massive warp in the main base. At the same time, the main army of Zest is rotating around. He wants to deny this third. Ryung recognizes and he pulls back.
And as he pulls back, Zest pulls in.
Oh god, exactly. He's going to be able to get on top of this army because Ryung, he pulled back into his main base to deal with the war prism, and it looks like there's far too much Protoss here. The tanks are getting picked off left and right, and the Archons are just getting so many shots off.
It's a really nice position here for Ryung. By the end of the day, Zest has the numbers to overwhelm. GG is called. Zest will take that series 3-2 to face Solar in the grand finals. GG. Came back on some familiar territory here.
Yeah, GG, well played. As I quickly update the admins, and my heart goes out to Ryung. He was so close. He was so close to making it to the finals for the first time, but in the end, it just wasn't meant to be. Berlingrad was such a rough game to watch. Just again, kind of, almost a build order loss. Berlingrad. It was crazy. It was crazy how that played out.
So. But in the end, I do hope that Ryung doesn't take this too hard. I mean, again, this is the furthest he's gone in an ESL Open Cup. He doesn't walk away with just about nothing, and yeah, 2022, it's gonna be a year of the tuna.
Exactly.
I've never been more happy to own my spacebar.
It's one of those things where Ryung, he's here every week. He's a very active player, so I assume, especially because he's here on Boxing Day, he's not going to stop practicing. The family's calling him up. They're like, "Yo, Dongwon, come, we're having family dinner." He's like, "Nah, mate.
We have so much tuna.
We have ESL Open Cup Asia to play." So Ryung, he is on that grind, and we expect him to get better and even better. So even though he didn't make it to the finals this week, he's going to have plenty more chances, and I expect to see him in the finals at some point in 2022.
I like that you put that mental image in my head of Ryung just ignoring the calls, the pleas of his family, because it's fitting, because he got knocked out by the one player who is more dedicated to ignoring the pleas of his family.
Yeah.
To playing in ESL. The one player more committed to playing in ESL, I should say. Zest
is always there, mate. And now he's made it to the grand finals. This is what we're used to seeing. Zest alongside Solar. If we're not wrong, they're two of the most... they've won the most ESL Open Cup Asias, right?
Yeah,